Well, she's still back, it seems. She was gone for so long, and now she's back for good, it seems. Kaitlin Bennett, the girl who famously shat her pants at a party after, I guess, passing out drunk. I saw the famous image that's supposedly her after shitting herself. I don't know if it actually is, but she seems like she passed out after doing drugs or getting really drunk at some college party. Pretty funny. Pretty funny. She's known as the party pooper. Exactly. Our favorite party pooper. The term party pooper exists because of people like Kaitlin Bennett. Isn't that crazy? Like town drunk? You know, everyone knows the term town drunk, but every town has a town drunk. Kaitlin Bennett is the party pooper, where that term comes from. It's beautiful if you think about it. Anyway, last time we watched her, she was trying to argue with random people at a festival about making a national holiday for Charlie Kirk. Well, just a couple days ago, she uploaded a new video called Anti-Trumpers Make Up Bizarre Theories. She's apparently still at the Dunedin Farmers Market in Florida, just harassing random people that are at a farmer's market looking at merchandise to argue about politics. This is the kind of thing that the right has always really loved. You know, this kind of false engagement type thing where it's like, we're going to argue with the opposition. We're going to debate their ideas. We're going to destroy their flawed worldview. But they never actually debate anyone who's a equivalent figure with a platform or considered known for their debate or whatever on the left. No one who's like equivalent to them on the left. Instead, it's always just randos they interview on the street that they'll just harass and implore to debate them on any given topic. And oftentimes, they're so uninterested, they come off as smarter and more knowledgeable than she does because she's just so annoying. She easily gives all of them an out to leave and still look good doing so. She doesn't come off as like polite and interested and like people who don't want to talk to her are weird. She comes off as the weird one that no one should reasonably be wanting to talk to. But don't take my word for it. Let's watch her newest video. I'm really curious to see how these anti-Trumpers supposedly have wild, bizarre theories. You know, so far from reality, supposedly. Mind you, Donald Trump has already broken his record for his first term in telling more lies than he did the first time he was president. We're only a year in almost, and he's already broken the record, telling like, what is it? Like 60 something thousand verifiable lies? I don't know, guys. It just seems like he might be a lying piece of shit. Think that might just be the case. I think it's Trump that's the problem, not literally everybody else, but who knows? Who knows? All that said, though, if you end up enjoying this video, consider leaving a like and a comment down below. It actually really helps a lot. It doesn't matter what you comment. It really, really means a lot if you do that. Consider hyping the video and subscribing if you want to see more. But without any further ado, let's get right into it, shall we? Kaitlin, give us the brain rot. Give us the slop.
He's against human rights.
What human rights is he against?
LGBT.
Trans people, gay people, immigrant people, black people, Asian people, Indian people. May we go on? Black African people, not white South African people. He actually really likes those immigrants for some reason and actually set up an initiative to get as many of them as possible in. He calls Muslim majority and or non-white majority countries shithole countries. He claims that women are fine with being grabbed by the pussy by strange men as long as said strange men are famous. He's in the Epstein files and has several verifiable allegations that he has taken part in the molestation and rape of underage girls. He has multiple verified and even guilty civil verdicts. Not guilty, but, you know, he's been found liable in civil court for sexual assault and rape. In one case, well, not rape, but in one case, the only reason he wasn't found civilly liable for having committed a rape was because the victim could not verify to the court, due to the nature of the assault being from behind her, whether or not she was penetrated by Donald Trump's pinky finger or his penis. And as Stormy Daniels and several other prostitutes that he has been, and porn stars and strippers and whatnot, that he has paid off verifiably, he has paid them off using campaign funding. They have testified in court that his penis is in fact so small that you would not be able to tell if it was his pinky finger penetrating you or his penis. And that matters. That matters in the state of New York where this lawsuit happened, because in the state of New York, much like I believe the UK still has this law, it is only rape, legally speaking, if there is penis or penile penetration. I think it might even need to go as far as penis into vagina penetration by law for it to be considered rape. This means that even if somebody sticks their fingers inside of your asshole, that's not considered rape in the state of New York. I don't think it's considered rape in the UK either, leading to a law standard that, ironically, more or less says that a woman cannot rape a man, I guess unless she's trans and has the gawk. But a cis woman, legally speaking, could not commit the crime of rape against a man, as far as I'm aware. It could be sexual battery, sexual assault. There are other crimes that would be considered, but it would not be categorized as rape. It could be... isn't that covered under sodomy? I don't believe sodomy is a crime in the United States, as far as I'm aware, but I could be wrong. Anyway, though, that said, I forgot where we were going with this. Yeah, Donald Trump has trampled over countless people's human rights, both personally and politically. There you go. There is a short, absolutely not exhaustive list.
QIA+.
He will trash free and fair elections.
Really? You think that?
True.
It's coming next
What
year.
proof do you have? Next year. I'll put it on my calendar.
On the way, ICE, National Guard in Chicago.
Your white supremacists are your Trump supporters.
What proof do you have for that?
Thank you.
What proof do you have for that?
You know.
Do you have any proof for him being a racist?
There's this one meme I really appreciate. One is an image of, like, a lefty socialist, like, rose emoji Twitter guy who's like, we have to, these Trump supporters, and they're only like this because of the material conditions. They're being, and it's like super, basically apologetic for right-wingers and conservatives and Trump supporters. And then the other frame is the average liberal 35-year-old wine mom, and she's just saying every Republican alive is an affront to God. I have to say, the liberal wine moms have ended up being the most based ones in politics. They have been steadfast, consistent. The resistance lib wine moms have been steadfast in that every Republican alive is an affront to God. And they will not waver on this. They're the ones who block entire families and classmates and old friends on Facebook because they're posting pro-Trump shit. All right, the wine moms will save us.
Have you watched him on TV?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get your words so I don't spew. I want to get your words right. What has he done that's racist?
Watch him on TV, you'll see.
Who's in practice right now?
Who remembers when there was a white supremacist protest in Charlottesville and a bunch of guys in polo shirts with the Nazi haircut where you got like the long hair going off to the side and the shaved on the top and then the shaved sides, all chanting while carrying tiki torches saying, Jews will not replace us and blood and soil, classic Nazi phrases. And when later a neo-Nazi would drive a car through a crowd of counter-protesters that were left-wing and murder one of them, Trump would reply by saying, there were very fine people on both sides. I think that's interesting. I think that's very interesting. I think people might interpret that a certain way. I think people might interpret Donald Trump referring to countries that are not considered white majority countries as shithole countries, might see that a certain kind of way. I think the fact that the vast majority of black Americans do not support Trump and do in fact believe he's racist might indicate that there's a reason to believe he's racist. It's always a conservative white person saying, how is Donald Trump racist? All the while, I mean, if you want to bring up the data, if you ask the majority of black people in America, they seem to think Donald Trump is racist. So unless you think that your opinion on what is and isn't racist is more significant than the vast majority of black people in America, then I guess it's just kind of, it's funny, right? Because she's trying to act as though white liberals are just making up allegations against Trump, but I mean, the data speaks for itself. Non-white Americans, especially black people, do not exactly support Trump.
The ICE group
Okay. Practicing for what?
to interfere with elections. Which side are you on?
Oh, I support Donald Trump. I would give him a 9.
my God.
Only, oh, but you don't have to walk away. We can have a conversation.
Man, even in
We
Florida,
went all
huh?
the way to Clearwater Beach when the Lord actually took us on the path.
I don't think Kaitlin Bennett realizes how bad things have gotten under Trump. A lot of these right-wing influencers are so wealthy, and, like, their wealth doesn't get meaningfully affected by the economy. Sure, they have to pay higher prices for things when inflation happens, but overall, they don't get all that negatively affected like normal people by a hyperinflated, absolutely shit-fucked economy with low job opportunities and low pay. It's just not something she has to worry about. It's not something that affects her, so she's super duper out of touch. A lot of these right-wing influencers, the live streamers, and I mean even left-wing live streamers and influencers can be really out of touch. And for her, I don't think she realizes how hollow so much of her culture war nonsense rings for a lot of these people who are living in an America that, as of the last couple weeks, about, what was it, like 20% of Americans can no longer afford their car payments? Like, we are rapidly descending into a massive depression, an enormous depression, a history-making Great Depression for the American economy. And at this rate, Donald Trump's just going to make it worse and exacerbate it further. People are not having enough money. Like, a large percentage of Americans right now don't have enough money to pay their bills. Not that they don't have enough money to buy Starbucks, they don't have enough money to you know, keep their car or their tank at 100% full every day after work. That's not where they're lacking. They're not able to make bills now. When a president runs on making the economy better and talks about how perfect the economy is going to be, and then every day more and more Americans can't even get their bills paid because they're so broke, and everyone knows the economy is fucked because everybody has less spending money, everybody has less income to speak of, no one is buying things as much. Places like Las Vegas are emptying out because nobody has the money to spend to even gamble anymore. So like Vegas has become a ghost town. Places that are just somewhat expensive luxury locations have seen a massive exodus of traffic. People are saving their money right now, and it's because of Donald Trump. Can confirm this is the first time ever I've maxed out my credit cards. Dude, yeah, the economy is in a fucked spot right now. Like, the whole, like, Donald Trump's so amazing, I'd give him a 9 out of 10. While you're talking to random, like, these are boomers in Florida, dog. Like, the fact that they don't even want to talk to you, like, these are people who clearly might have supported Trump at one point and decided not to do so anymore now. And so hearing you come in and just glaze him, they don't want to waste their time talking to you.
To the Dunedin Farmers Market. So here we are instead. The Lord provides. I love farmers markets. We're asking people to rate Donald Trump's job on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. Let's go.
Why is she just harassing people at farmers markets? I've been here before, by the way. This is a very nice
On a
farmers
scale of 1 to
market.
10, how would you rate Donald Trump's job so far in his second term, 10 being the best?
No comment.
This lobster roll?
How would you rate the lobster?
This is what I mean. Nobody here is interested in talking politics. Everyone there is just trying to go out and enjoy their day at a farmer's market, okay? Like, this is the cringiest thing you could possibly do. Like, the thing about Kaitlin Bennett is I feel like she's always been the lacking in self-awareness cringe lord who is somehow popular enough that she's able to convince herself she's not super cringe, but, like, she had to retire from YouTube because she fell off years back. Like, their channel died because the right just kind of got a lot less culturally relevant, and she was one of the least, like, for 4 years she was retired. You know, she was made into a bit of a lolcow, right? But now we're in this, like, brain-dead conservative culture war era we've been in, so she's made her comeback. But ironically, I think she's made her comeback at the wrong time. We're, like, at what feels like the tail end of this era of right-wing cultural dominance. It feels like starting, like, next year and going into December and whatnot, it really does seem like we're going to see a very different... Gosh, how do I say this? It feels like we're going to see a very different culture on the internet and very different culture in America politically by the end of next year. I think 2026 is going to be a big year. Obviously, there's going to be midterms, and that alone is a huge deal, but I think there's a lot about 2026 that we can't even predict yet that is going to culturally benefit the left a lot. I think it's going to polarize a lot of people away from the right.
A 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Now, Donald Trump.
0.
Rate the job President Trump has done so far, 10 being the best.
0.
0? Really? You're the first person I've talked to that has said 0. Why do you give him a 0?
Who are you giving it to?
Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Why are we giving him a 0?
Just look at the world as it is today.
Racist. Piece of shit.
I like how that last guy said that like he just got done buying groceries this morning. Listen, these people were complaining about the groceries. The chuds were complaining about the groceries during Biden. Now the prices are actually unbelievable. They're actually ridiculous. People are actually not able to afford food and bills now. Not the, like, meme joke poor that people were during Biden's presidency. Now people are actually poor. Like, so much that it is statistically significant. And it's making headlines that people can't make payments on their bills. That is how bad things have gotten. That is a guy who looks like he just had to pay $25 for a carton of eggs this morning. Obviously not that much, but you know what I mean.
Okay, what has he done that's misogynistic or racist?
Raped women, assaulted women,
Yeah,
talks down to women, cheats on his wife.
He was found guilty in court, by the way, for sexual assault. He's found guilty for this.
Mm-hmm.
All that.
Yeah. What about the racist part? Do you have any proof for him being a racist?
I guess she just accepts that he's a rapist? Okay.
Have you watched him on TV?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get your words so I don't spew. I want to get your words right. What has he done that's racist?
So, have you ever wondered, why does Trump and the right throw this nonstop stream of bullshit at us left and right? It feels like they're giving us piles and piles of ammo to work with. The reason they do this is to make it unmanageable, impossible to remember a handful of things, because it's like pulling your favorite 5 candies out of a mountain of candy. You know what I mean? And you're like, which ones are my favorite again? I forget which flavors are my favorite. And so when you're put on the spot in a situation like this, if Donald Trump has been sending out like a decade of nonstop breakneck bullshit, and it's like, okay, right now we're focused on Trump being a pedophile and his presence in the Epstein files. Now he's covering them up. And then she's like, how's he racist? Give me all the examples of times he was racist. And it's like, well, right now I've been thinking about Trump's like involvement with Epstein. Well, let me try to remember. For me, the number one thing I think of is the shithole countries thing. He's also ableist. Who remembers one of the first things he went viral for doing was there was a reporter with like Bell's palsy, or not Bell's palsy, cerebral palsy, I think. And Donald Trump did like the most South Park tier, not even South Park tier. South Park's way more highbrow than that. Like, I don't even know. Like he just started doing like playground level imitation of the guy, like toning it up to the max and being like super ableist. Like he's a real piece of shit. Like Donald Trump is a shithead, bro.
Racist.
Watch him on TV, you'll see.
Yeah, I do watch him on
Between
TV.
him and Miller.
Okay.
That-
Okay. Would you give Miller a better score?
Please. No, they're both exactly what my wife was saying.
Okay, so he's also a racist misogynist.
Yep. You
Okay.
guys have a good.
What's the proof for him being a racist?
I'm done. You guys have a good day.
Okay. We're just out here throwing terms around, but we can't back them up. That's a crazy thing to just start calling people racist, just left and right. Yeah.
Well, one of the biggest things that Donald Trump has done that is pretty racist is his Supreme Court appointees, who he specifically gave orders to and told them what not and what to do when appointing them. They're the ones that headlined the initiative. Or no, not the Supreme Court justices, the judges. Different judges. The low-tier state judges that he appointed tried to push for voter ID law that would have basically specifically targeted black people, to the point where when that case was escalated to the Supreme Court because the voter ID law was challenged and the Supreme Court was to make the final decision, they didn't even see the bill. They chose not even to see the case. They immediately dismissed it. They immediately shot down the law after giving a cursory review and saying that it was very clearly meant to keep black people from voting. That was their words. The Supreme Court's words were, the law was clearly designed to keep black people from voting. And that was Donald Trump's appointees. That was Donald Trump's plans. Donald Trump has since tried to instate many, many other instances of voter ID law. And for those who don't know why voter ID law is racist, it is because said voter ID law is always centered around excluding certain kinds of ID that could be accepted when going to vote, excluding them, right? And they always run polls. They always run like through a database, and they find out what type of IDs do black people tend to have more often than white people. Because there are many different types of identification you can use for voting, and so which ones do black people tend to use when going to vote more than white people? They literally look at that, and they specifically try to ban the types of ID that are most commonly statistically used by black people. It's not a matter of, like, not making an opinion-based argument here or an assumption. They look at the data, they find out what IDs are most used by people of color, and they try to get those banned. The Supreme Court saw that that was clearly what they did, and has shot down many different attempts at voter ID law. Donald Trump is still a massive supporter of them. Oh, who remembers? Here's another great example of Trump being racist. The Central Park Five. Who remembers that? They were exonerated. They were considered innocent. They were falsely accused of committing a rape, I believe, right? And then Donald Trump wrote an op-ed in the newspaper about how they should be given the death penalty after they were exonerated. Who remembers that one? Who remembers? Yeah. Trump is, he's a bit racist. You just gotta think about it for a little bit. She puts you on the spot, but if you give yourself a bit to think about it, it's like, oh yeah, and then there's that, and then there's, yeah. Well, if we had longer to think about it, and we didn't want to get stunlocked forever, we could. Oh, and Obamagate. Yeah, Donald Trump was the originator of the birther conspiracy. The claim that Obama was actually a secret Kenyan, terrorist who wasn't, shouldn't be allowed to be president. He was the one who originated and popularized the birther conspiracy. I forgot. Obama is black? He must be from Kenya. Yeah, totally not racist, guys. Mind you, I believe Kaitlin Bennett's private messages have leaked, and it's like a bunch of Hitler shit. Kaitlin Bennett's not a libertarian. She's not even a conservative. She's a full-on Nazi. Like, full-on loves Hitler. There are a lot of messages of hers that have leaked to talk about how much she loves Hitler. It's not even ambiguous.
I would love for proof, though. Yeah, do you think Trump should get a Nobel Peace Prize?
Absolutely.
Okay, why so?
Because he's brought peace to the world.
Yeah, a lot of countries he's brokered peace deals with, huh?
No doubt. Absolutely.
Would he get an A+ or an F?
Give me some examples. Because right now, the last thing he was bragging about was Israel and Gaza. And just this morning, Israel just bombed a shitload of kids in Gaza. Like, literally name one. Name one peace that Donald Trump is clearly responsible for brokering. I don't think Donald Trump has stopped a single war or de-escalated a single conflict. He's played no part in any such thing. I would know if he had. My job is kind of to cover this stuff and follow it. He has not done a single thing.
I like Trump.
You don't like Trump? You do. You do. So do I. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, how would you rate Donald Trump's job so far?
0.
0. Okay.
Negative 50.
Negative 50. That's the lowest score I've gotten today. All right. Why the negative 50?
Because he's ruining our country.
What's the dog
Okay.
doing?
Who is this for?
My YouTube channel. My name's Kaitlin. My channel's Liberty Hangout. What would you give him? Lower than that?
Lower than that.
Lower than that? Like negative 51?
He's, I can't even begin to explain how horrible he is.
Okay.
Man, I need to... Oh, fuck, man. Fuck. Man, I'm not gonna lie. I've genuinely considered moving back to Florida. Mostly because I remember going every time when I was out in Florida, I could just go outside and I would encounter a Trump supporter, guy with a MAGA hat on, and they'd be down to debate. They were always down to debate, and they would not debate well. And I really kind of feel like I want to go back to that, like, epicenter of conservative nonsense, because there's just nonstop content. Like, being able to go to this Dunedin, I know where this farmer's market is. I've been to it. I'm from Florida. The Dunedin Farmer's Market is a very, very popular recurring weekend event. A lot of people go there. Knowing that she goes there frequently, I can just go there and walk around till I see her and debate her ass on camera. See if she tries to edit me out. It'd be pretty funny. Bro, you'll be underwater? Fair. But then, if I move to Florida, then I can be in Florida when GTA 6 comes out. I can tap back into my true primal Florida man roots and then play as the Florida man Jason Duval in GTA 6.
He is just vile. He's
Okay.
running amok and nobody's stopping him.
Well, how would you rate Donald Trump's job so far, second term?
Hell yeah, woo! Taking care of the veterans.
Nice, all right. Thank you for your service.
Is she aware of what needs to be not shut down for governments to receive federal benefits for their health care? Donald Trump has very much not been taking care of veterans, kind of famously so. Paid actor? No. Definitely not a paid actor. This is Dunedin, Florida. There's plenty of Trump supporters around here. Frankly, though, the fact that she's encountering so few of them is telling. Dunedin, Florida is not exactly like redneck bumpkin country, but it's not like Miami or Tampa or Orlando either. It's not a big city. So this is very much like the kind of place you expect to go hard red in an election. And it's not really, it's not popping off all that hard. It's not like it's not a huge epicenter. And yet still you're seeing a lot of people who are clearly quite progressive. And this is like Florida. Mind you, Trump's like biggest base are people like this, like middle, upper middle, and lower upper class white people. In southern states like Florida, this is like Trump's #1 demographic, and a fair amount of the people that she is interviewing here are not on the Trump train. They're on the opposite of the Trump train. They really don't like him. Like normally before, in like 2016 to 2020, it felt like you would interview people and their opinions on Trump would either be really positive, kind of neutral, or kind of negative. Now, though, people are answering either really positive or really negative. And that just shows that things are so much more polarized than we even realized they could get.
So why is he so vile?
Oh, good. The AI trash. This is very blatantly AI generated, by the way, if you guys don't recognize it. This there's like a handful of cartoon AIs that particularly the right have been really on top of using. This one in particular with this art style is one of the most popular. They also really like the fake Studio Ghibli, or Ghibli, I don't know how it's pronounced. The fake Studio Ghibli art style AI generator. They just love their stolen art. They love it.
I don't know if I'm prepared for this right now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
If I thought someone was vile, I would be able to tell you why. I can tell you why.
If you don't like a candidate and you don't want to vote for them and hand them the presidency, but while you're randomly out at the farmer's market someday, you can't get stopped on the spot and explain yourself entirely on that topic, then you clearly have no right to have that opinion. It's so fucking cringe, dude. These people are at a farmer's market on the weekend trying to enjoy their day off, and then you stop them and demand they defend their opinion on Donald Trump. Like, is the idea supposed to be that if you can't remember every example you've seen of a person being bad, then, like imagine if we applied this logic to anybody else, any other situation, right? Like, let's say a husband is, like, mercilessly beating and abusing his wife, and then, like, the cop is like, okay, name every time that he's abused you. And it's like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, if she can't remember every case where her husband hit her, does that mean that she's wrong and has no ground to stand on? Like, this is ridiculous. Obviously, her opinion of Trump has been colored by evidence and clips and instances and quotes that he's made over time, and just because she can't recall a handful of those pieces at a moment's notice does not mean that her opinion is unfounded, okay? The fact is, not Candace Owens, Kaitlin Bennett and I are both, well, not media trained, but media experienced individuals, and while Kaitlin is not exactly a good debater or speaker, she's definitely better than the average person. And being able to talk about things, being able to keep politics at the forefront of your mind, that you've just got a list of political talking points on hand that you can call upon, is a pretty difficult skill and not something a normal person, even a normal person who's kind of into politics, would ever be able to do. Kaitlin Bennett, on the other hand, no doubt has a bunch of memorized talking points, but on top of that, she's banking on the fact that if she demands specifics from these people, they probably won't be able to list them. And if they can't list them, then surely those examples don't exist, right? But that's not what she's trying to prove. She's not trying to prove those examples don't exist. That's kind of the implication, right? The main point of the video is supposed to be these people have a strong opinion that's negative on Trump, but they can't, when put on the spot, explain their reasons. And that's supposed to make them seem as though there are no real reasons, that it's Trump derangement syndrome. There are no good reasons to dislike Trump. He's perfect.
I think Joe Biden is vile.
Oh God, I don't want to start this. He is an idiot. He is supposedly a businessman, but what is he doing with our economy? He is against everything that... He's against human rights.
What human rights is he against?
LGBTQIA+.
Can you go more into depth about that? What rights of gay people has he vehemently been against that you can point to for solid proof?
Well, is he a Christian that is one...
He specifically wants to ban the ability for trans people to transition. The procedures like hormones and facial feminization surgery, bottom and top surgery, that once conservatives claimed were fine for adults to get if they wanted to, and a doctor was cool with it. Now they're trying to pass laws banning such things. They're trying to pass laws that say being trans in public is a sex crime, a sex act being committed in public in front of children. And thus trying to prosecute that as a sex crime against children, which in several states, such as Florida, has now been made punishable by the death penalty. Like, we're literally in the midst of a government shutdown in order to keep people from getting health care. Oh, here's another big example of Donald Trump being racist. We're covering this a little later in the stream. SNAP, food stamps. Let's be real, food stamps, I think every conservative knows, are a big part of why many low-income people of color in America are able to not starve to death. And so, of course, Donald Trump is doing everything possible to shut down the SNAP program and just make sure a whole lot of brown people end up starving. That's his goal. And that's just today. That's today's news, and I'd say that's pretty damn racist, if you ask me.
Of the people who believes... I can't do this right now.
I was just asking for proof. If he's against gay rights...
Proof?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
No, I like proof when people say that someone's against human rights.
No, thank you.
If you think of any, come on back. I'll be here for the next couple...
Like, as much as I hate to say it, this is an effective strategy. Like, finding random people and making them out to be the straw man of the left and being like, see, this random lady at the farmer's market can't explain why she thinks Trump is racist. This is what the left is like. It's effective. People are like, wow, the left really is like that. Donald Trump really is perfect and has no flaws. Somehow this is an acceptable thing to think now about the leader of the country. That they are perfect and have no flaws. The same people who used to nihilistically say that the government controls our lives and everything is unfair and we have to drain the swamp, those same people will go wild if you dare to criticize or say a negative thing about the perfect president who has no flaws.
Hours. Odds are she has no idea what she's talking about. That's okay. How would you rate Donald Trump's job so far in a second term?
A 0.
Okay.
0.5.
0.5. Okay, that's nice. That's generous. Why would you say 0?
I think he's just breeding hate.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
True.
that's what I think he does. He
Okay.
just is dividing everyone.
Yeah. So you think like the hate is coming from Donald Trump?
Yes.
Okay.
I know it is.
You know it is. Okay, well, let me ask you this and kind of play devil's advocate. We've actually seen political violence on the rise from the left wing against Trump supporters and people who share in the
That's not true. In fact, there are countless studies that have been coming out since Charlie Kirk was killed, because obviously it's been a big talking point. Not only does the left commit less violence politically than the right, but it's by magnitudes. Like, the left commits about 10 times less political violence than the right. The funny thing about this is Kaitlin Bennett is arguing that the data suggests that the Democrats or the left are getting more violent. And yet, when you point out the data that, like, separate from this conversation, conservatives' reaction to you pointing to the data that shows the opposite, that the right is literally 10 times more violent than the left, they argue that they are Biden crime studies that underreport hate crimes against conservatives. So she will argue the data backs up her point unless one of the people she's debating points out that the data does not back up her point, at which point she will then move the goalpost and fall back on, those are Biden studies. That's Biden crime data. They specifically exclude hate crimes, quote unquote, against conservatives and white people. They like to claim that too. So, whenever you hear a conservative try to claim that the left is in any way represented as being more politically violent in data, call them on their bullshit and watch how fast they try to claim that the studies, all of the crime studies, all of the statistics are questionable and can't be taken seriously because something Biden.
conservative. That's not accurate?
Yeah, it's not accurate.
Okay.
Most of the political violence is coming from the right.
So when you include, I know the statistic you're talking about, and when they include white supremacists as right-wing violence, which is not fair.
This is the basis on which these people try to, like, poke holes in the logic of the left. You can't call white supremacists right-wing. No, not if you call white supremacists right-wing, then that means you think all right-wingers are white supremacists. Yes. Conservatism is about white identitarianism in large part. Like, a big part of your movement is talking about how white people need to advocate for themselves. They're being hate crimed by black people. Clearly, if you keep going in that direction politically, you eventually get far enough that you're in full-on white supremacy. Yes. You go far right enough, you end up in white supremacy. Yeah. And it's funny because she's literally argued that if you go too far left, you end up hating white people. So apparently if you go too far right, you don't end up hating any group of people. But if you go too far left, you end up hating white people. That's her logic.
Those are your Trump supporters. Yeah, your white supremacists are your Trump supporters.
What proof do you have for that?
Thank you.
What proof do you have for that?
You know.
No, because he's very pro.
The wine moms are fucking based, bro. Just looking her in the eye and saying, you know. Because she knows that that woman is a white supremacist. Kaitlin Bennett is a white supremacist. She's a full-on Nazi. She's got DMs talking about how much she loves Hitler. She's a Nazi. So the saying, you know, is actually kind of a power move. Because internally, Kaitlin Bennett does know. She got clocked.
Israel, and usually white supremacists don't like they don't like Israel.
You're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Hi ladies, how are you? We're asking people on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, what number would you give Donald Trump to rate his job so far?
I would give him a negative number.
A negative number? Oh my goodness, why?
I don't have enough time to go into so
like
many.
30 seconds on the number one thing, you're like, you know what, this right here, negative.
I would say negative because we're not looking out for other people. We're going after other people. We're not taking care of people unless you're in the 99%. So I think that the government should be taking care of the people that live there.
How would you rate Donald Trump's job so far in a second term?
I have to give him a 1.
You have to give him a 1.
1. I couldn't
right.
give him a 1. A 0.
A 0.
Mine is 10.
Someone gave me a negative 50 today.
Oh, I'm negative 100. Then I'll beat
okay,
it.
why a negative 100?
Well, women's rights, civil rights, free and fair elections gone.
Okay.
Free and fair elections gone.
They will be. He will trash free and fair elections.
Really? You think that?
I mean, Donald Trump tried to shut down the USPS because he didn't like mail-in ballots. He's trying to ban mail-in ballots. He tried to stoke a mob into attacking the Capitol to overturn the election results in 2020 because he didn't win. He's constantly, and still to this day, maintains that he does not concede defeat to the 2020 election and refuses to accept that he lost because he could never lose because he's perfect and there are no mistakes, no flaws whatsoever. All Trump supporters see him as a god and worship him and suck his cock. And so, yeah, these people are glazers. I genuinely, every day, I hate Trump supporters a bit more. They are contemptuous and pathetic. They truly are.
That's coming next
What
year.
proof do you have? Next year. I'll put it on my calendar.
On the way, ICE, National Guard in Chicago.
You're just
They're
listing. You're just
practicing.
listing off things,
They're
but
practicing.
Give me examples. Wait, you're just listing off things. Stop listing examples. You're not supposed to know any examples. You're not supposed to be able to think of anything when I stop you on the spot. Stop. No. When I stop you in public as a random stranger just out on their day, you're not supposed to be able to remember any examples. Stop it. You're just listing things. Stop. Great.
They're in practice right now.
ISIS?
ISIS. And,
Who's in practice right now?
the ICE group
Okay. Practicing for what?
to interfere with elections and to try to interfere with free people voting and scare people.
Really?
Terror tactics. Which side are you on?
Oh, I support Donald Trump. I would give him a 9.
Oh my God.
Only. Oh, we don't have to walk away. We can have a conversation. That is the crazy.
Literally everyone's just like, I don't want to waste my time with this fucking loser. Like, I gotta go pay like 5 times more at the grocery store. And I gotta pay no one can afford their bills. And meanwhile, I gotta deal with this influencer who's trying to make money off of debating me about how God Emperor Trump is perfect. I'm not gonna waste my time on one of these. Like, I love how much so many of these people are just, they don't want to waste their time. Like, Trump supporters are on their way to becoming this, like, ousted from society, like, separate class. That going into the future of America, having any affiliation or a past related to Trump is going to be, like, a sort of, like, I don't even know how to describe it, it's going to be a mark on them. It's going to be like a signal that's going to tell people, don't be friends with this person. They're dumb, they have bad judgment, they're probably lacking in empathy, they're probably selfish. Especially if they were supportive of Trump till the end, that is going to be the kind of thing, I think, in the future, that's going to have serious social staying power. I genuinely believe this. I think Trump and his supporters are going to be looked back on as a group that people are going to try their best to separate themselves from, to save face. Right now, everyone wants to be part of Trump's good graces. I think a day will come where people are going to try to start faking and feigning separation to save face. And that is the future I want to help make happen.
Craziest conspiracy theory, which I thought we weren't allowed to have any of those, by the way. He said that ICE agents are practicing for the midterms next year so that they can rig the election and scare people away from voting. The only people who would be scared from voting with an ICE agent around are illegal immigrants who shouldn't be voting anyways.
I don't know. I think some people might assume it's best not to go and vote if the guy who is running for an illegal third term, which is not the typical precedent. He's ordered federal agents to be armed outside polling stations, and there's the implication maybe you're not supposed to not vote for that guy who has set up the armed guards outside of the voting stations. I think it might maybe discourage people that don't vote Trump a little bit. At the very least, I think that might be the intent.
Both sides of the aisle.
Absolutely, yeah, as you should.
Get one source here, one source there.
Yeah, you know, a good way to do that is ground.news. You can actually go there.
Okay, what? Oh, God, these fucking grifters, dude. This video has 216,000 views in 3 days. The biggest thing I love about the left is how insanely stupid all of them are. That's the top comment. Liberals can never answer simple questions. Laughing, crying emoji. This is proof that mainstream media is a brainwashing tool. I like how they hate Trump, but don't know why. Trump derangement syndrome is a hell of a drug. That's right, guys. If you dislike their God Emperor, you have Trump derangement syndrome. You're unhinged, you're insane, you're stupid, and crazy. No sane person would ever have anything other than the most shining 10 out of 10 opinion of Donald Trump. Like, just the fact that any kind of questioning of his authority or of how perfect he is not allowed, or is, like, framed as some kind of derangement syndrome. This is the behavior of a cult. No, not even... I mean, literally only Jesus. Only Jesus should be talked about in such a reverent way, okay? Donald Trump has not done anything significant for these people directly that should make any of them feel as though he is so special and important to them. This is a parasocial relationship, and the day that America has a overwhelming realization that it's pathetic and cringe, that's the day I'm waiting for. That's the day I am excited for.